Let's go. So I'm getting a lot of Arch Manning related questions, even though we should be talking about this guy right here because this guy would help out LSU right now. More on him in a second. But there's this rumor going around that Arch Manning is indeed considering LSU. And as many of you know, LSU doesn't have any quarterbacks committed for the class of 2023. And the state of Louisiana is loaded with not one, not two, but three very capable quarterbacks that could be big time for the Tigers. And the other two, Eli Holstein, who was committed to Texas A&M, and Rickie Collins, a three-star committed to Purdue. It doesn't look right now that any one of those three guys will be committing to LSU. But look, this is what I'll say about all three of these guys, and in particular Arch. It's still so early, right? With NIL and the transfer portal and all the movement that happens now in college football, overall recruiting has just changed so much over the past year that, this Arch Manning debate, look, he's going to be the most sought after recruit ever. He is going to be the most hyped recruit ever. And pretty much every school he goes to, he is going to be the biggest story at that school. So it's a really interesting dynamic, and I know a lot of you don't even view Arch Manning as the clear-cut number one quarterback in the class of 2023 anyway, even though he is the number one overall number one ranked prospect. I'm going to make a visit to all the big schools, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Texas, Ole Miss. I could see him, visiting all of them, and I could see him going to any one of those schools, including LSU. At this point, though, I think the bigger question as an LSU fan you need to answer is, will LSU even get a quarterback in the class of 2023, considering the room is very young with, obviously, Garrett Nussmeier, class of 2021, and high-level top 50 prospect Walker Howard in the class of 2022. So as far as Arch Manning is concerned, I know a lot of you send me messages about Arch. Do you actually think he could go to LSU? I understand it's exciting to talk about, but honestly, it's going to get old really, really, really fast. However, what I want to do is talk about not one, but two LSU Tigers that could help out right away. Boom! I'm looking at you right now, okay? You're a diehard LSU football fan, and you just happen to be watching this channel for the first time. Yes, you. Hit that subscribe button, please. It helps out. But if you're one of the diehard PHLers, you know what to do. Like this video because we've got to talk about two LSU transfer portal targets, starting off here with Tyler Steen, the offensive tackle from Vanderbilt. He is getting looked at by Alabama and pretty much everyone under the sun right now. I know there's some connection with Tyler Steen to what LSU has going on right now. This would obviously be a big pickup for LSU. They've already picked up not one, but two huge offensive lineman transfer portal players in Miles Frazier and Tremont Shorts. A third would definitely help out. I still think LSU is looking for some reliable depth on that offensive line, and Tyler Steen would be someone that would start, and you could see next year LSU starting two offensive tackles from the transfer portal. I think it's a pretty close lock that Miles Frazier will find a way to be a starter next season. And then after that, you worry about who else is going to be on the offensive line, whether that be Cam Wire, Garrett Dellinger, Anthony Bradford. That list goes on and on. Even Cardell Thomas. So I think the big question, and I got to shout out Danny. She's always on the lookout for this. The big question is, will LSU get a center from the transfer portal? What are they going to do at that position? Because the last 2 years was unacceptable at that position. Not just the inconsistency from Liam Shanahan, but more so the lack of depth behind him. And I give Liam a lot of credit because he had to play. Even through some injuries I believe he was playing through, he had to play because we just didn't have another reliable center. So it's not only finding who your starting center is going to be, it's who your backup center will be. And I don't think Tyler Steen is a center, but he would be a big big-time addition to the LSU Tigers. And the second player I want to talk about today is Khari Coleman, who enters the transfer portal from TCU. He was a guy who had an amazing true freshman season. He's one of the amazing Louisiana 3-stars that we always talk about. Every single year, there's always about 4 or 5 3-star guys that aren't recruited by LSU. They go to another school and they ball out of control. And Khari Coleman did just that a few years ago as a true freshman. This past season, 2021, he was really banged up and he just wasn't as good as he was as a true freshman. He is now in the transfer portal. He's out of New Orleans, and is this something that LSU could pursue? Now, I watched a little bit of Khari Coleman's tape. He is a tweener defensive end. He's not necessarily a standing outside linebacker type, but I do think he is athletic enough to give you a few snaps there. But he's more of, and look, he wears the same jersey number. He is a lot like Ali Gay, just your traditional hand-in-the-dirt defensive end, but once again, he's a pure playmaker. So is this something LSU actually pursues? I think that they kick the tires on it. Once again, defensive line is one of the positions that has actually gotten deeper with Mekhi Wingo coming in. And I know a lot of you are super high on Quincy Wiggins. And then, of course, you have Mason Smith, Jaquan, and Roy, who play a different position. But I could easily see LSU wanting to get another defensive end to add to their rotation. Now, a lot of it comes down to what's going to happen with a Phillip Webb, a Xavier Carter. How do they fit in to the future of the LSU defense? We'll have to see. But once again, I do think he is worth a slot in this class if you can get an explosive playmaker at defensive end. And Khari Coleman just was that. Like, he made a lot of plays in the Oklahoma game matchup versus Spencer Rattler, and then against Oklahoma State as well. So he played actually his best as a true freshman against the better competition that they faced that year. So I give him a lot of credit. It's going to be hard, though, to beat out Texas here because Gary Patterson, of course, the TCU coach, was fired, and he got hired recently by the Texas Longhorns. So I think Texas will probably be in the lead for Khari Coleman, but this would be another Louisiana 3-star coming back home to play for the home state school. So I do think this is something LSU will pursue, but I don't know how big of a priority this actually will be. Boom. So I get this question a lot on live streams about the transfer portal regarding LSU getting another quarterback this cycle. I still stand by what I've said over and over and over again. Unless Miles Brennan has an injury during the spring, or any of the 3 quarterbacks, Walker Howard or Garrett Nussmeier, have an injury during the spring, the likelihood that a quarterback from the portal enters LSU's room is still very unlikely. Now, what I want you to do is obviously comment down below. Do you believe Arch Manning is LSU's #1 prospect for the class of 2023? And if you do keep up with recruiting with the class of 2023 or whatnot, you understand that right now LSU, especially with the new staff, they are layering and just dishing out a ton of offers right now. But really, Arch Manning's name is going to dominate the cycle. Now, you saw the tease a little bit earlier. The weird thing about Arch Manning's statistics is, well, it's actually 2 things. The first is that Arch Manning has been a starter at Newman High School for 3 years already. So he started on the varsity level as a true freshman. And obviously, he is leading into his senior season. The strange thing about it was his true freshman passing statistics were its best. He averaged 243 passing yards per game as a true freshman, and I don't think he has eclipsed over 200 yards passing per game since then. The difference, though, is that his rushing numbers have actually gone up. So what I think's happened there is, I've watched Newman on occasion. Obviously, a lot of Arch's games are televised or on YouTube. It looks as if pass protection has been an issue with Newman, which is interesting because obviously LSU is bringing in Bo Bordelon from Newman in this class of 2022, but it looks as if protection has caused Arch Manning to be more of a runner. They've also played some really difficult teams. This is obviously Lafayette Christian Academy, where a lot of LSU Tigers have come from, and they have just flat out throttled Newman in the playoffs these last couple of seasons. So, it is something to take a look at, though, because it's weird that your freshman passing statistic numbers on a yards per game basis were so much better. But honestly, I just think it is due to Arch just running more out of necessity. So obviously, comment down below your thoughts on Arch Manning. Some of you don't actually believe that he is the best player in this class. Some of you don't even believe he's a top 3 quarterback in the 2023 cycle. But this obviously won't be the last time we talk about him. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, we are growing as a community, and subscribe and all that good stuff, okay? It is Power Hour LSU. So early, right? But if you want some more PHL content, you could check out our Joe Burrow Super Bowl film study. Boom, right there. And tonight we are doing pork chops. Let's